Hey guys, me again Aswat. For this video, I wanna talk about two stories that happened recently that has a connection. I think about people reaction to news from the West media. The first news is about Ellen Page, who is now wants to be known as Elliot Page. And the second is the story about Letitia Wright, and she posted a video that questioned about the new COVID vaccination. So, and she got a lot of backlash, and Elliot Page did not get a lot of backlash. That's what I want to discuss. Is the situation with the Western media. With Elliot Page, you can see the liberal media in the West. They are all supporting her right to voice out, to make a statement that she is now Ellen Page is no longer Ellen Page. She now identified as a he, as a transgender, and would like to be known as Elliot Page. Okay, I'm not going to share my view right now. I just want to share with you the background. So the Western media is supportive of her. If you Google any sort of news, most of the media supports her decision, which does not come from, not provoked by anything. But I can see the media only attack those who question Elliot Page declaration, because they are taking now like Ben Shapiro or whatever as considered the rights. They are very, 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 very strong at tackling them, saying that they are very narrow-minded, they are very bigoted and whatnot. So people like Ben Shapiro being attacked and facing a backlash. I just want to make a note that I'm not a supporter of Ben Shapiro. I'm just looking from afar and then seeing that how the media, I'm talking about the media reaction to left-wing people and right-wing people. So in this case, Elliot Page is basically generally known as a leftist. She's very left. The fact that she's a lesbian. She came out on Ellen, I think. She's a lesbian, and then recently she becomes a transgender. So the left media is quick to support her transition to him, and attack those who are not accepting of that. So okay, so now to the second topic. I just want to give the background first. The second topic is Letitia Wright. Letitia Wright plays Shuri in the movie Black Panther. She's from UK. She's an actress. She's black. And I forgot to mention that Elliot Page is white. Does it matter? Maybe or maybe not. I don't know. Not yet. Just want to have a background first. Laid it out for you guys. So Elliot Page story, she's a white girl, so she get white privilege and whatnot. But she still she still talk about being subjected to persecution because she moved to lesbianism, and then she declared that now she's a guy, Elliot, and she's afraid of being prosecuted because of me. But she's still white. I don't know about you, but if you're white, and it makes a lot of difference compared to if you're black lesbian or black transgender. So it's still color of the skin really makes a difference. So on the opposite story is we have Letitia Wright. She's a black actress. She just came out recently with this video and questioning about the vaccine, about the COVID vaccine. She openly says she's not trying to hurt anyone. She just wants to get some more clarification. And the reaction from the media and Twitter and the left are very different, you see, because from when I read the Letitia Wright Twitter, I was studying her viewpoints. Okay, the concept, I'm a pro health, so I'm very pro vaccine. You know, if you have a vaccine during this COVID time, you take it. So, but it doesn't mean that Letitia Wright doesn't have the right to question it. She said she needs more information, she needs more data. The problem is she linked her Twitter to a video which is now deleted, to somebody who is a clear anti-vaxxer and has some sort of other element talking about in the video. I cannot comment more on the video because I did not see the video, so I have no right to comment on the video. But and now since the video has been deleted, but I want to focus on Letitia. Her reaction is just what she said. She wanted to learn more about this. She's not trying to hurt anybody, but that's her background. That's what she's saying. But the reaction of the media was very swift and very, as compared to Ellen Page. When Ellen Page had this decision to say, "Oh, you know what? I'm Elliot now," they're very supportive. But when Letitia said she wants to learn more, the media, instead of saying, trying to understand, okay, so she needs to learn more, give her more information. You know, you don't attack her because she clearly has her own, questions, and but how the media treat Letitia is different from how they treated Ellen Page. They attack Letitia Wright, saying she's narrow-minded. She's trying to send out a very negative message about vaccines and stuff like that, anti-vaccines and stuff like that. But you see how the difference, how if the media could if the media was very fair, they could treat, I'm talking about the left media. Most of the media that this is happening is on the left side. They attack her for being narrow-minded, and they are not more trying to help her understand the situation. They're not trying to do that. They can easily do that, but the narrative is attack her, cancel her from, that's a message that the Western media and Twitter, left media and left Twitter is attacking Letitia Wright for her, not her views, but her questioning of the vaccine. So for me, she has the right to voice out her concern, or because she lacks knowledge, she needs clarification. So there should be the right one, if I would have directed the media, the right response should be give her the information to sway her to understand the situation better. So that's how the left treat her. They don't come out hostile, outright hostile, but they use indirectly by using the Twitter mob. The Twitter mob attacks Letitia, but the Twitter mob supports Elliot Page. So what I see is that the media uses the Twitter mob when it suits them, using mob violence, all this politics, when they want to get their message across, they resort to mob violence or mob protests, in any country, when any political situation, any politician or any political bloc want to make a statement, they want to add value to that statement, they use the mob, which is as a protest or riots. So you see that how they bring down President Donald Trump by using the mob, using the Black Lives Matter movement. The Democrat funds the BLM and Antifa. Look, I'm not supporting any other side. I'm talking about how media and how politics use the people to attack, to move the agenda forward. So in the Letitia Wright case, the media cannot attack her directly immediately. They cannot attack her directly because one, she's black, and then she's a woman. They're trying not to attack her on that angle, not too much. Because now the comparing news is the white privilege of Elliot Page. She gets supports from the Western media, on the left-leaning media. But Letitia Wright, they are very, very careful about her because she's black and she's a female. Yes, the only thing they hate about Letitia Wright, that the left, I've seen a pattern, which is Letitia Wright is a very staunch Christian. She's a born again. She's a conservative Christian girl, and the same thing happened with Elliot Page. Before this, Ellen Page attacked Chris Pratt's church by saying a lot of things. But all the picture that you see from the West, from the left media in the West, is that attacking these Christian values or people who have very conservative Christians, and the left media will attack those people, including Trump, but they are supportive of the LGBTQ, the gays, the transgender, because it's not conservative, it's not part of the conservative group. So the media is more leaning towards them, towards the LGBTQ, but for very much against the conservative Christian right, which they considered right. Whereas in America, it has always been, in the West, it's always been a very Christian culture, whether you are left or right. But now, the pendulum is swinging very much against the Christian group. That's why Donald Trump and the conservative and Christians, they are very much against the mask wearing and all this COVID belief, because I think they know that the dangers of the virus, but they are just going against the liberal media that is supportive of all of this thing that they see and eating their religious faith. So the conservatives have become very, very tired, very afraid of that, and they also, like I said earlier, use the mob. So when I said earlier that the political on the left, they use the mob in terms of the BLM culture. Now the group on the right also use the mob in terms of Antifa, the Proud Boys, and the new Nazis that you are seeing now. Even the use of that thing, and you see this battle. Even though the politician, they say, Trump was in the middle of it. He was asked by the media a lot, but Trump was trying to say that the opposite group, which he doesn't say very clearly, that using the BLM, and he was using the Proud Boys. But if you are not, like, take yourself, like myself, out of the picture, we look at it not as a pro-Trump or not, but how politics or how media uses the mob to paint a picture of the trend or the news structure, you see. So now, going back to this story about Letitia Wright and Ellen Page, you very, 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 people are not questioning Ellen Page at all. Like on the liberal media, the problem with the liberal media is like, they're always talking about cultural appropriation, how if you're acting, you can only, a black person can only play a black character, or a black character can only be played by a black person. Recently, Apu the person who was voicing Apu for the in the Family Guy. I don't know what do you call that, I'm not following all this cartoon or whatnot, but the cartoon character was Apu, and he was an Indian guy, but he was voiced by a white actor. So the white actor quit the role because he said, "Oh, only African Indian person should play voice out." Because nowadays in America, all this Hollywood, they try to appease the left. All this thing, cultural appropriation, all this issue come out. So they are talking about, okay, a female character can only be voiced by a female actor or things like that. So if you're a guy actor, a black actor or whatnot, you can only be played by that specific same character. So nobody asked about this character, about Elliot Page, now that she wants to be considered as a guy. But can she play a female character? Now, if this was not, if you ask this in the media in the West, if you ask this in the liberal media, they will attack you. I'm sure if they listen to this, oh, this guy is being bigoted. But I'm asking, because if if a guy plays a girl character or a different character, they will call it cultural appropriation. It's not appropriate. They want on the people on the non-Hollywood, they want the to be on the what do you call it, to be what, PC or politically correct or whatnot. They want the person to be culturally appropriate to play a role, which I don't believe. It's acting. It's just acting, but now it's so sensitive, so they want that. So nobody questioning whether, there are people on the right who are questioning whether can Elliot Page still plays a female character. Nobody has nobody's discussing that in the general media. Even though if somebody else on the right do that, they will question it to the bone. But Letitia Wright, who is is a person who a Christian conservative actor, suddenly voiced that she does not understand an issue. She's not trying to hurt anybody. They attack her like that. Do you see that the double standard of the left media? That is what it makes you question how they approach. Okay, my personal view on the matter is that, on the terms of vaccination, I'm very pro-vaccination. I think Letitia Wright should be given the information she needed. But like young people nowadays, they hardly go and do their own research. Instead, they ask Twitter, they talk openly. And when you do that, like any young people, they don't want to do research first. So this caused problem for her, knowing now in the climate where if you're on the conservative right, you ask that kind of innocent question, people will construe it as being very narrow-minded or very dangerous person, But at the same time, that's my view on the vaccine. On the Elliot Page story, my personal view on that. If you want to change your sex, your gender to whatever, I don't. First of all, I don't understand the situation, but I don't want to. I'm not. That's up to you. That's your freedom. Even you living in America, that's your freedom. You want to change it to whatever you feel like it. Go ahead. You know why? Because in Asia, where I am from, Malaysia, I'm close to the Thailand border. If you go to Thailand, there's a lot of lady boys. That has been going on way before all this discussion in the Hollywood about transgender, about LGBT. If I have, since I've been exposed. I have family in Thailand. When I know that discussion, there are lady boys in Thailand. Transgender is very normal. It's very culturally accepted, and people can live without fighting each other about that. So have grown up like very liberal, even though I'm a very conservative person. I mean, I have faith, but we used to that, in our culture in Malaysia, in where I'm from, close to the Thailand border, and having families in Thailand and friends. It's very normal. If you go there, lady boys or transgender, they are there, but nobody persecute them. That's the difference between us and I think in Southeast Asia and the West or India or whatnot. You hear all this violence, but in Thailand or in Malaysia, we can accept. Malaysia can accept. Is one of the country I realized that we accepted, Chinese and Indians. They were brought in by the British, and we can accept that and give them as our our brothers, as our population, part of the population. There's a very accepting culture in this region. Not just Malaysia, I think Thailand, Malaysia, Indonesia, Philippines, some more. I mean, they have a very open culture in terms of transgender, LGBTQ, Yeah, I would say that. I mean, Philippines is a very conservative Christian. Indonesia is very liberal, but there's also part of that conservative. And, Indonesia is very liberal and conservative, but they can accept each other without fighting. I mean, in this region, we can accept all those kind of things. So that's a very long-winded question, a very long-winded explanation about where I come from and how I view Ellen Page becoming Elliot Page. It's up to her. The question that people, because I'm not questioning all this to Letitia or Elliot Page. I'm looking at the media, the Western media. I mean, how they are political backers in terms of using the media and using the mob to get their agenda across. So that's very, very fascinating. And it's very scary because then other media from other countries and other politicians from other countries learn from this method and trying to use that on their population. So maybe it's a criticism of the double standard of the media. The term Trump created this term. I think the word of the 2020 and then 2018 and whatnot was a fake news term, because what he exposed and what he talked about is fake news. I mean, CNN, MSNBC, Fox News, all the news media in America have an agenda. They are not right or wrong. Like being on the left doesn't mean you are right over those people on the right. They both they have extreme sides. So a lot of people doesn't understand that because the media is such a way. They are now very, very left-leaning, very liberal, meaning they are very much against conservative culture. Whether you are, the more you talk, but the more you go into this, you look from an outsider. You can understand why the conservative Republicans and Trump, they are very afraid of the left media. They are taking the attack on Christianity, attack on Christmas and whatnot. Why? Because they see the media is left-leaning and they are very quick to attack the right or conservative culture. So that's, you see Ben Shapiro getting attacked. And Joe Rogan, another character that comes out is Joe Rogan, because the reason left media hates Joe Rogan. If you read, I'm going to do a video on that, because you can see the disparity between how Joe Rogan is attacked by left media, even by Huffington Post. They come up with stories about the staff of Spotify is so against Joe Rogan and blah blah blah. It became its own story. Whereas anybody who listens, because that criticism comes from, because Joe Rogan talks to Ben Shapiro, talks to a lot of these conservative speakers, on his talk show, on his podcast, And they paint a picture of Joe Rogan as being bigoted, a right-wing bigoted person. Whereas if you listen to Joe Rogan, he is not. He is accepting, he interviews the left and the right. He interviews Bernie Sanders, he interviews, Ben Shapiro, a lot of mix. He's a fan of, Joe Rogan to me is not like how the media, if you read, just Google media, basic media, and do not do any research. The left media in America paint Joe Rogan as a bigot. Whereas he's not. He's not even a right-winger. He's mostly centrist. His views are very open to both sides. He wants to listen to both sides, and he is actually wanting to learn. But how the left media conceive anybody who does not accept, who even 1 inch want to talk to the right side as anti-left. So even though they are not, they are not that. They are not anti whatever. They are not bigoted. They're just questioning it. It's amazing. It's amazing to look at. So I brought up this topic because it's so recently two recent news issue that is talking about almost the same kind of reaction from the liberal media in the West. So I just want to compare both situations and how the media reacts. So that's it. That's for now, and thank you guys for watching. Peace.